Hi, Scott Orlin with Cinema Magazine. The new movie is called Just Mercy, and luckily just for us, the two stars are with us, Michael B. Jordan, Jamie Foxx. This is one of those films that it just is so gut-wrenching because you go, it can't be real. Could people really do this to other people? And it is true. How much did you know about this story before you got the script?
Well, it's more than just one story. You know, it kind of takes place over, Brian's life, and what he's actually kind of been into. I didn't know that much about Brian when I first, got the book, but actually listening to his TED Talk and actually being able to read up on the book and understanding who he was and what he represented, you find the stories of the Walter McMillians, and so that's how I got educated on the process of this case and this tragedy that happened to him some years ago.
There's a sequence in the film, and it happens to both of you. When you're in the car and you're driving and the police pull you over individually, the first thing you do on the steering wheel is you put your hands out like that. And that really got me.
And that wasn't indirect.
Yeah,
that was instinct.
That's 2019, man. Like people don't understand. And this is what's interesting. It's like we will tell these stories for the rest of our lives, but you will not understand me and him being affluent, doing our jobs, everything is great seemingly in our world, but we get on that road, we know that if something goes awry, we can end up in that situation. A police officer could stop us, and because of the natural profile domino that was pushed a long time ago, things could quickly be in dire straits. So when we did that, that was a small thing to let people know that, listen, I give up. I'm sacrificing my manhood. I'm sacrificing everything I can to get home to my family. And that's every black man in the world, but it's hard to make you understand it. I'll be driving with my white friends, and they'll just ride past the cops. Hey, there's a cop. Hey, man, chill out. It's like, it's a real, and we'll get tense. What are you tense about? I said, you have no idea, because it's happened to us, and when you see it in a movie, that's a signal. That's a signal that we're afraid of this moment. We're scared. And then, unfortunately, in his situation, it did become that. It did become this. It became something that he's drowning in, something that he doesn't even understand. And it was simply because he fit the profile.
I want to ask you, because we've all at some point in our life been unjustly accused of something, whether it was a big brother said you did something that you didn't do, and you kind of have to, how do I maneuver out of this? Seeing in a movie like this gives it a whole different context, but has there been a moment for you in your life where you felt somebody pointed a finger at you and you didn't do something?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you can't even compare, my situation to this, and I'm not trying to even make the correlation, but to your specific question, I mean, I got siblings, you know what I mean? So just, to your point of, who drank the last of the orange juice? You know what I mean? It wasn't me, I promise. It wasn't me. And then it's like, somehow she planted, the box of orange juice in my room, and then all of a sudden I became that guy. So something like that is like something real simple, bro. But
or with me driving in LA, on a TV show, riding in my red truck, going to see a friend who's sick at 2 o'clock in the morning, female police officer stops me and says, "What are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean? What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just trying to find a parking space. Is there a problem?" "Yeah, there's a problem. There was a break-in, and the person that did the break-in was riding in a red truck." And the next thing you know, backup, guns, everything. And all I'm doing is saying, I just want to see my friend.
Yeah.
So those things are not, like as we said, not to the magnitude of Walter McMillian, but those situations when you are, wow, I can't really get my mind around, I'm telling you, I'm just parking my car, and the next thing you know, your gun is out your holster. So those types of elements in the movie, when you see, especially I have to say, when you talk about the speech that Michael B. Jordan did in this movie, and I hope you can speak on this, it is so powerful. Even in the trailer that's out now, the words he speaks, and I say this to him all the time, the roots that he planted in Fruitville Station, he will forever be able to show this narrative, be in this type of film. And I like I always ask, like, what's going through your head when you're doing that incredible speech that means so much to all of us?
I mean, I think, like, in those moments, it was looking at all those faces, you know, in the audience, you know, and sitting in that courtroom, you know, I mean, all those white faces that are, you know, projecting and hoping that, you know, Walter gets, you know, thrown back in, you know, back in jail, and then all those black faces standing up in the back of the, you know, courthouse that, you know, weren't able to get a seat, you know, because, you know, of what that was at that time. It was, I felt like I represented every person that was unjustly accused, that was fighting for something, that were oppressed, that had systemic oppression, you know, passed down on them. I had all that running through my head. I felt like I had to represent that voice of truth, that voice of justice, that voice of Bryan Stevenson, what he represents. So that was kind of the things kind of running through my head through those moments, and just wanted those words to, you know, trying to channel that energy through me and be a vessel for that message.
And I thank you enough for sharing. Michael, Jamie, this is Scott Orlin. Until next time.
Thank you.